Growing up, I saw my parents, who were middle income, maybe lower middle income, hard-working people, and they seemed to enjoy talking about Hollywood stars and watching all the movies and TV shows. And maybe as a child growing up in that atmosphere, that told me that those things were important to the average person. And I thought, boy, that would be interesting to be part of that. I was at Channel 4 twice, actually. I was worked there for a little while in 1980, 81, 82. Then I went out to Hollywood and tried my hand at writing. Jim Papard, who was the news director in 1984, called me when I was out in Los Angeles and asked me what I was doing and said that Channel 4 was going to put a big push on to regain the #1 spot, and if I was interested in coming back and being part of the team, that would be great. And so I came back to Channel 4 in 1985, and I stayed until 1989. And the dream of Hollywood got me again, and I packed up and left for the West Coast. And when I was there working for KCAL, Channel 9 in Los Angeles, I actually worked on the Paramount Studios lot. And it was fun to come out of the news department, walk out and see the Hollywood sign right in front of me every day. That was a very interesting thing for a kid from North Buffalo to walk out to. When I was in LA and all the OJ trouble came down, I had very mixed emotions because I liked the man personally, and the story was so horrific that it was very hard to reconcile the two things. But I did cover many parts of the story, both out on the ground and in the helicopter. The famous white Bronco chase, I was overhead in the helicopter. And in those days, we didn't have the gyro-stabilized cameras. We were actually hanging out the side of a helicopter with a camera on our shoulders and a rope tied around our waist so that we didn't fall onto the white Bronco. That was an interesting experience. It was something that people watched all around the country. One of the nice things about shooting news in Los Angeles was there were so many stories that took on a national interest. It was living part of history, and it was really a chance to be in on things that people in the news would really give their eye teeth to be part of. I covered the LA riots, earthquake, several earthquakes, but the Northridge earthquake from the helicopter was quite an experience, seeing all that devastation. The riots, the LA riots after the Rodney King trial, that was an experience that I don't know that anybody could ever imagine, the way it looked and the things that happened. A lot of interesting history. It was traumatic. It was, my personality kind of takes most things in stride, and I view it as an experience. It wasn't something that I avoid thinking about. It's just something that happened, and it was an experience pretty much like any other experience. As long as I, came out the other end, it's something I lived through, and it's something that I can relate to when it comes to the important things in life, what can happen, what people understand about life. When you go through an experience like that, it puts some things in perspective, and you tend to maybe think a little bit more in depth when you put yourself in a position that might be dangerous. As a single person with no family, I took a lot more risks than I have since then. You know, with a young family, the responsibilities are different. Well, coming back to Western New York was a decision that was really quite easy for me because it was home, where all my family, all my friends are. My wife is from New Orleans, so we had to make a decision. Should we go to New Orleans? Should we come back to Buffalo, or should we choose somewhere else? We came to Buffalo several times on vacation, and my wife fell in love with the area. She probably is more of a native now than I am. She just has gotten so involved in it. And so being here, and the decision was to come here to raise a family, because this is a great place to raise a family. Much better than Los Angeles, for example. And being here, raising a family, I got to feeling I really need to do something. I'm not somebody who could just sit back and do nothing and consider that enjoyable, an enjoyable way to pass my life. So I decided that I would try and do something, and obviously the media is what I've been doing all my life. I looked into radio a little bit, I looked into television production, and then I had the idea that if there was a station available, it might be fun to take television back to its roots, something that is more creative, more imaginative than anything that's on the air today. The vision for the station is to become the most entertaining entity in television in Western New York. With political buzz, with the Fred Jackson Show, with the sports wrap-up, with a car show with Tom T. Those shows are a way to get into the market, and that gets us on the air with programs that we can provide to the area that do connect and that do have a purpose and inform in the various subjects that we've chosen. For political, there's nobody that does political talk like our show. You know, we're bringing national figures in, we're having discussions about what's pertinent in Western New York and nationally. It's a great start for our studio. When we have the Fred Jackson Show, we pack the audience into these seats, and the energy level that comes with shows like that is just, it's electric. It brings an excitement to the programming that's just hard to describe. With MeTV, and I think that's been a tremendous source of programming for the people of Western New York. It's just, it fits in with the values, it fits in with the style. It's wholesome, all-American entertainment. In this position as a Western New Yorker with WBBZ is to get people in Western New York to discover that WBBZ is here, that we're local, that we want to be their television station. If people discover us, then there's no limit to what we can do in Western New York to make things interesting, entertaining, and informative.